We're back again for the sixth week in a row, and the with the Money Sauce PHL review. And this week we have lost the money and we've added the Pete. Welcome to our
The
show, Pete.
the heart.
The
The
heart,
heart.
the
Yeah.
heart and the soul.
Yeah. You're the sauce, he's the money, I'm the heart.
That's perfect.
There we
Together
go.
we're I
Don't try.
don't have, yeah,
Don't
let's
try.
not do
Just
that.
yeah,
Let's not do
yep.
that. But yeah, Garrett couldn't be here this week, so thanks for jumping in. Um, I just I thought I'd start off by asking you, as a longtime member of this league, like Garrett and I are as well, one of the founding members, with what, like 15 years almost under our belts here. Just a quick kind of overview thoughts on what do you think of the league? Where is it good? Where could it improve? Those kind of things,
Has
just
it been 15 years?
about that. Yeah.
Holy smokes. Cool.
Yeah.
I learn every day. Um what do I think? Well, I quite enjoy it. We've always had a pretty passionate group, and I think there's always kind of been a bit of a struggle just with trying to find people that have the right level of intensity for us. I think
Fair.
we've had a couple on either side, right, where they were so into it that it was a little annoying. And then we've had others that were so out of it where it just kind of like felt like a smaller league and other people were playing through the motions. But I feel like certainly the past couple years, few years even, it's kind of been a nice steady stream.
That's good. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's something I look forward to, always talking about. When we get together with anyone in this group, it's always a topic that comes up. Even if
Yeah.
there's a moment of silence, there we are talking again. Um, yeah, I mean, it's good times. Uh, I thought I'd share my screen here and we talk about some breaking-ish news off the top here. I don't know if
Sure.
you saw in the news recently, but kind of going off of our conversation last week about All-Star games and the Four Nations Cup and international competitions, the NHL is sending players back to the Olympics this year. And they're having some troubles getting the arena built. And
Yeah.
sounds like even if the arena is built in time, the ice surface is not going to be larger, as you would expect for an Olympic or double IHF competition. In fact, it's going to be smaller than the NHL standard, according to Peter DeBoer, who's, I guess he's an assistant coach for Canada at these
Yeah.
Olympics.
I
So,
saw that news as well, which is it's a little bit of a shock because my mind has been attuned to the idea that the Olympic ice was always bigger, wider, right? And then like the rules used to be no red line when there was a red line in NHL, so it was always more open. So the
mhm,
idea of a smaller rink for international hockey seems strange. Um,
yeah.
but I don't know how big of a deal it is or how much of it's a leverage point between the IIHF and the NHL, the Players Association. Um, Obviously, it's not the ideal, but I don't know how much difference it actually will make for the players. But
Yeah, I mean, he made it sound like it's what did he say? He said the ice surface looks like it's going to be smaller than the NHL rink standards by probably 3 or 4 feet. He added, I don't understand how that happens, but he also said, I don't believe it's a huge difference. So,
yeah, I was like when I was reading an article about it today, they were saying like apparently there's more variance in the international rules and like the smallest possibles rink size is like just under a meter smaller than the NHL, but it can get a lot bigger than that. And they just went on
mhm,
the lower scale. So
okay.
it's apparently like just under a meter. smaller, which is gonna. I wonder how it's gonna affect the game. Like it's tighter, right? Is it
Yeah.
gonna be more physical, or is there gonna be more collisions? Is it uh, I don't know. Is it gonna just be a lot more neutral zone turnovers and traps, and is it going to be the old New Jersey Devil game, and
That's the
where
first thing that came to
the
mind when you
whole
said
thing just
trap.
kind of like into a little bit of a cone towards the net, and it's tough to get around, or I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see if that plays better towards certain teams. And, maybe you see a team not do as well as you expected or do better than expected because of that. But I mean, they got to finish the arena first before we can even get into talking about the actual
Right.
games. So hopefully that's done on time. Apparently
And
that's
I
a
don't know how
panic.
much the IIHF like tries to use deadlines as leverage to get the right contract. I don't really know. I imagine there's a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff that goes on, but
Yeah, that we have no clue about. So we'll
yeah.
see. We'll keep an eye on it anyways, leading up to the Olympics. I also got an email a couple hours before we jumped on this call today from you. My email said I have a trade proposal in front of me.
Yeah, I do that all the time though. That's like an everyday occurrence. Like that
That's
can't be
fair.
a new thing.
No, absolutely not. But I thought if you're okay with it, because I don't want to show it if you don't want the rest of the league seeing what you've thrown out there. Um,
Oh, go for it. I don't care.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'll throw this up.
I'm Garrett was asking me the other day, he's like, so are you like rebuilding or like what's your strategy? I said, I don't know. I'm just a dishwasher cycle. It's just going to keep going around and
Well,
around,
that's the question I was
picking
gonna
up the new
ask.
stuff and shooting out the old stuff.
Oh man. Well, okay, so let's have a look. You're offering
Whoa.
me,
Kachuk, Thomas, and Nyes. Holy cow. Why would I give all those guys up? And a 10th round pick. No one should say
which
no to that deal.
so that would be a third round pick after our keepers. And you are asking for the
9th
Connor.
round.
There we go. Thank you. Ninth round and Connor Bedard. Boy, oh boy, you know how to tempt a guy.
Just yeah. Let's hear it.
I'll tell
I
you.
want the live reaction instead of just the fuck off, Peter. I'm just hitting reject that I imagine everyone's doing, but I'm sure they're kinder than that. But
So, two thoughts. The first thought is interesting. Brady Kachuk's numbers so far this year aren't great, but I mean, that doesn't,
injured.
yeah, right. It reflects the fact that he hasn't played as much. And um, Matthew Nyes has been steady. And I guess Robert Thomas is one of your St. Louis additions that you've been going for. That's a bit younger there. And I guess
Yeah, he's
kind of.
been averaging like point per game for 3 years or so. Yeah. By the way, my children aren't slaves. There's a broken glass in the back, and they're just trying to clean up the broken glass.
All
Um,
good.
yeah, you see brooms and tiny heads going. Um, but continue.
So yeah, I mean, thinking about it on a just this year train of thought, that kind of mindset, it's very tempting. I'm very happy with my centers, not overly interested in centers at this point. Brady Kachuk has that ability to be in the left wing slot, which you always like to have some flexibility. Left wing is definitely one of my weaker spots, so that's tempting. But Connor Bedard, I mean, I could have him for another 15 years as a
This is
keeper
true.
over and over, which I'm assuming was what attracts him to you.
It's a keeper league. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
That's the big thing. It's just getting an A-list center.
Mhm.
on the roster, and knowing that I'm going to be sacrificing a lot of talent for 1 year and giving draft pick to supplement some of the future year stuff. And it's not like I'm not giving keeper quality players back, but
Yeah.
it's meant to be tempting. Um, those are the most fun trades, aren't they? When we both
They
don't want to do it, or when we.
absolutely. Um, yeah. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be completely honest and say I'm just not sure. After being the guy that traded away Connor McDavid, I don't think I want to be the guy that traded away
So
Connor
do it,
Bedard.
do it, do it live. Hit reject.
uh,
Break my heart.
I never want to break your heart, Pete.
Oh no.
But that's kind of what it comes down to. Without going too deep into stats, I'm very happy with these three guys at center.
As you should. He's
Did
4-4. It's yeah, tight matchup.
in the middle of the pack there kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then we kind of flipped from what Yahoo projected to what the final score ended up being. I ended up 74.2. He ended up 63.7. Yahoo projected me at 61 originally and him at 71. So we kind of flipped the script there on Yahoo. For myself, Tom Wilson with a 10.7 week was
Ooh,
my player of the week there.
I feel
Couple,
like he
sorry,
might come up in
Farmersville assists.
conversation later. Just feel like it might happen. We'll wait.
We'll see.
Um,
We'll see. For Dave, his player of the week, I think I skipped right by him there. No, I didn't. There it is. Logan Thompson, 10
he
points
also might
even.
come up
I
later.
was just going to say. Um, Dave also had, here he is, Jason Robertson, 9.5 there. This guy has been so good for Dave so far this year. He's either been his player of the week or darn close to being the player of the week for him. So,
Yeah.
um, great player for him this year. But I squeaked out a bit of a win there.
Yeah,
Next,
maybe he's one of the ones I shouldn't have traded. That might be a theme through this one as well. I'm seeing the name Austin Matthews and Leon Draisaitl and Tage Thompson.
yeah,
I'm
I
sure if we go
also
down there,
traded Tage
McKinnon is
Thompson.
probably there.
Well, yeah, I mean, for Collins' side, it was 52.9 to 73.6. Marcel got the win. Both teams exceeded the original projections. But yeah, speaking of McKinnon, he was with 8.9 Collins Player of the Week this week.
Mhm.
And on Marcel's side, he had Timo Meyer with an 8.5 as the Player of the Week for him. 10 points up from the projections, not bad at all for Marcel, and kind of showed Yahoo what's what there. Next up, we have you and Ty.
You do.
Uh,
Ty smoked me like
he,
from start to end. It was the week of Tampa Bay. He's got a few. He's got Vasilevsky, Brandon
does.
Hagel,
He does.
um,
Nikita
another big
Kucherov.
Kucherov, and I
Mhm.
have Braden Point, and Point was out all week. Um, and the Lightning went on a tear without Braden Point. So I'm going
It's
to guess his three best players are probably all Lightning players, and then one of my big guys was out.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Am I
yeah,
right?
you're right. You're right. Yeah, he kind of he goes as the Lightning go so far this season. For you, it was Matthew Schaefer from the Islanders was the player of the week with a 6.2. And then on Ty's side, it was Nikita Kucherov, 11.9. And
Look at the gap though. Even their best players are a difference between like 5 points, and he's got two of them that have those.
well, and to your point,
Vasilevsky,
Vasilevsky
yeah,
even topped him off with the 13 points there. So yeah, huge week for Tampa Bay, and those two guys together practically made up the difference between your scores there. So um,
yeah.
yeah, you're exactly right. Tampa Bay did all the heavy lifting for Ty this week, and he picks up the win there. Next, we had Rick and Paul. And Rick picked up a little bit of an upset win this week with 68.5 to Paul's
I like both
60.2.
those teams a lot. By the way,
I've
I li-
noticed for
I think.
Rick, sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I've noticed for Rick, it's all, well, this is a bad example because the first two are not, but it's all fours and fives every week with his roster, it feels like. Everyone's contributing, and I'm surprised his record is only 3-5 because if you asked me to guess, I would have guessed he was higher, but he must have just had some
Got
bad
some
matchup luck.
high-end talent, yeah, and the fill-in pieces are all like the supporting cast is quite deep, it feels. And then Paul has probably the best keeper group, I would say, over everyone,
Hmm.
which
No doubt about
um
it.
and then the Leo Carlson has just been a huge pickup piece for him in the
Hmm.
draft.
Yeah, yeah, Anaheim has been streaky as a team, but they've had some really good players that have been good fantasy players this year. On Paul's side, though, it was actually Nico Hischier that was 8.8 for the player of the week. And on Rick's side, you have to go to goaltending with Jeremy Swayman at 8.3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and next up, we have Garrett Newstrad and Dan. And this is something that we got to point out right away. Dan got the win, 55.9 to 47 point. But look at the original projection that Yahoo put here.
So what happened here? Like
So,
I saw Dan's
so
post, but I don't.
yeah, something's wrong because last Tuesday, when we were looking at the scores and kind of what's going on at the start of last week, Yahoo had him projected at 55.43 points. So I can't believe that this is actually correct. I think there's some kind of a glitch here.
Okay.
Um, I can't
Well,
imagine he went from
obviously, it's
Monday
not
to
correct.
Tuesday. Yeah.
You don't have to imagine either way. It doesn't pass any sniff test when it comes to mathematics. It's not correct.
I can't even think of a time when we've had an 100-point week ever from anyone. And
Someone's one of the players, like I don't know if there's individual breakdowns of what players' expected points were for the week, and maybe someone there was a zero added to instead of 5 games, they were
you're supposed to play
it
500 games.
the formula said like 50 games, and this is what I I don't know what could have happened, but there's certainly a glitch somewhere.
There definitely is. But I'm sure, despite that, Dan is happy with his win this week. For Garrett on his side of things, um, Martin Nekis, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name there, but 6.1 was the player of the week. And on Dan's side, he had Mr. Hines there, Roop Hines, where is he there? 9.8. So nice.
I think it's Rupe or
Kenzie Blackwood,
Whew.
2 games, 2 wins. I traded for for Wedgwood,
Yeah.
who is coming in on the season as the starting goaltender for Colorado. This week he got me a 1.9. I think I traded for the wrong Colorado goalie.
It,
uh,
I think you and Garrett kind of covered the goaltending conversation in a previous pod, but it's there's so many splits now
Hmm.
in goalies, like 60-40 type splits, that it's tough to find the right one. And if you get one on a bad team, like there's the highest variance between what they could get you and what they could drop. So if 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 you have a bad week, it kills you from the goaltending. But at the same time, it's hardest to predict what you're going to get from a night to night basis or from a week to week basis based on who's starting and the matchups. And I don't know if it's just a flatter talent pool than ever before, or like there's always the um, Hellebuck and Vasilevsky and Shesterkin, and like there's a who's the Dallas guy, Ottinger. Like there's a few that you can rely on consistently for the whole season, but there really aren't many, right?
This
It's
is
it's a
it. Yeah.
position where you can hit on it with low picks and it makes your season, but at the same time, if you miss and you wait too long and you don't get anything reliable, it can kill your season too. But
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is exactly it. And yeah, it's been something that Garrett and I probably talk so much about because it's been something that, he had his kind of bust with Dustin Wolf in the first round that he picked. Markstrom was my first round pick last year, and he wasn't starting off very well this year, and I kind of bailed from him. So it's definitely been something that's been huge for both of us to try to balance out our rosters and all that. And look at this for Garrett, both goalies were
negative,
negative
yeah,
points. I mean that doesn't
negative
that doesn't make for a
3.2
good.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Versus 13 plus on the other end. Like
yeah.
that's the matchup
That's the
right there.
matchup right there. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Garrett, though, he played captain this week and had a huge week,
86. Whew.
86.10. And captain, poor captain, he came up with a nice big score, 70, and he actually would have beat everyone else in the league except for Ty, Marcel,
Brutal.
and me. So the matchup luck this week was just not on captain's side. Um, for him being captain,
What? Oh,
yeah,
captain. Yeah.
yeah, it was I've lost. Where is he? Larkin. Where's Larkin? There he is with an 8.9 this week. Dylan Larkin, that was
You
his
have a good
player of the
year.
week.
You have a good year.
And on Garrett's side, Dallas's Wyatt Johnston, excuse me, with a 13.5. Massive week.
I've been after him since the draft, and Garrett won't trade him to me.
I, I'm,
Oh,
I have a feeling that it's going to be even harder after this week.
no kidding. That Dallas team, holy cow, the firepower.
No kidding. Um, Speaking about goalies and Garrett's team, dropping Dustin Wolf and adding Dan Vladder has proven 2 weeks in a row now to be the right move. Um, and as always, has become a little tradition. Here's our Cole Caulfield check-in: 1 goal, 3 assists, and didn't hurt Garrett directly. He's still wondering if he should or should not have traded him, though.
Good player.
So,
He's a great goal
mhm.
scorer.
That kind of wraps up what happened last week, but let's have a quick look at the standings here. Here we go. Paul remains first overall at 6-2. And then we have the 5-3 bunch with Garrett, Neustrad, myself, and Marcel. The middle pack, Garrett, Dave, and Ty, and Colin, all 4-4, sitting at 500. Rick, you, Dan, and Captain. Oh, no, just Rick, you, and Dan at 3 and
Yeah.
5, and then Captain is 2 and 6, kind of by himself down there right now. But if he has another week like he did last week, that I don't think that'll stick around for too long.
Oh, it's close. It's
Mhm.
it's all very close still.
It
So
is, yeah. No one, Paul hasn't pulled away like I thought he might have a couple weeks ago. So everyone still has a chance here. Looking at the matchups this week, I've got tie. We're neck and neck, 9 to 9.9 right now, and Yahoo likes tie by just a couple points at this stage of the game. You've got Colin, got the father-son battle this week. You're about a point
Close.
down right now, very close,
No.
11.2 to 10.4. And Yahoo also has the prediction close, likes Colin by about 2 points. Dave and Rick are facing off, and it's
Mhm.
9.4 for Dave, 4.7 for Rick, and Yahoo really likes Dave, 74 to 57
Yeah.
there.
This next matchup's a big matchup for the week.
It is. It absolutely is. If Yahoo was still doing the matchups of the week, I would guess this is what they'd pick.
Yeah.
Marcel and Garrett Neustrad. Um, 17.2 to 11 even for Garrett right now, but Yahoo likes Marcel 71 to 62. But Garrett is shooting above projections right now, which is about the only
6 points
one.
above. Yeah.
And then Captain is playing Paul, so it's the Battle of the Pauls. Um, and it's 15 to 14.2 for Paul over Captain. Yahoo likes Paul 75 to 64. And lastly, we've got Dan and Garrett. Garrett's up 14.9 to 10.2, and Yahoo likes Garrett 69 to 56. So, um, yeah, another week of PHL hockey in the book, and another one started. Last week, I'm assuming you listened last week. If you didn't, just say yes. Um,
Yes.
Garrett and I
I
spoke
have
of
been listening every week, but I haven't listened to the most recent one. Yeah. No.
it's all good. Um, we talked about the All-Star game
Yep.
and the different formats and all that kind of stuff. So we had at the end of it, we talked a little bit about the Four Nations Cup that happened last year instead of the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Actually, before I move forward on that, so there's been the format of the Stanley Cup champion playing a team of NHL All-Stars. There's been the East versus West, like conference versus conference format. There's been the divisions playing off against each other in 3-on-3 format. And then there's been the fantasy draft format. So out of those formats, what's been your favorite over the years?
Oh, I was just gonna say it's probably the right podcast for me to miss. Um, uh, my favorite part of All Star Weekend is watching the competition, and
Mhm.
like in general, All
That's the
Star
best.
games across the board. I just don't have an interest. There's not it doesn't feel like there's any competitive fire. It's a lot of showmanship and um, I don't know if it's my memory as a child remembering the hockey being better or if they actually cared more back then. I feel like they did care more back then though.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
it's just a little too playful kind of shinny hockey going on with really talented people. And I don't know, I get they're talented. It's a lot more exciting for me to watch Will Smith deke out a bunch of people and score in an actual NHL game than you know what I mean? Like he did
Hmm.
the other day and it's all over highlights and because then players are actually trying to stop you. Um in terms of what I've liked best, probably, and this would go back a bit further, but I always like the North America versus the world format.
Right, I forgot to mention that one.
Uh,
Absolutely, yeah.
I felt there was a little bit of pride, at least for the players when they did that.
Hmm.
The fantasy draft didn't really do anything for me. The 3-on-3 tournament, I quite like 3-on-3 as a way to end games.
Hmm.
It's not. It's not a. It didn't feel eventful in the way that an all-star game should feel eventful. It kind of there's a lot of ice and a lot of puck possession, and eventually it goes like I don't know, like it didn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah, fair
East
enough.
versus West, or probably the North America versus the world, and then East versus West, I would say, more the traditionalists. But I'd like them to like, can they body check each other a little bit? Can they just like finish their checks? Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's funny because it's basically what Garrett was saying as well too, and it, I agree. It's there for the sponsors. It's there for a showcase to put on in the middle of the season for the American networks to try to you know get hook people into the sport or maybe that haven't been and all that kind of stuff. My suggestion was forget the outdoor games as an actual game because of all the weather issues
Hmm.
or ice quality issues and all that. Tell the guys to throw on a pair of gloves, a pair of skates, a toque, throw your sticks in the middle. Outdoor game is the all-star game, and we just toss sticks.
That'd be fun. I'd watch that.
Yeah, it'd be something different anyways, right? Like make it
Absolutely.
if it's gonna be a shinny, make it a shinny, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But
So,
honestly, like I think it was a couple of years ago, I was watching the skills competition with Colin, and I'm like,
mhm,
this might be like my favorite all-star day out of all the all-star things is the skills competition in hockey.
mhm.
Home run derbies can be fun. The three-point shooting competition can be fun. Um, that's it for me,
Yeah,
anyways.
no, I'm with you
Dunk
there.
dunk contest is horrible. The
Yeah, I agree though. The hockey,
just the hardest shot and the fastest skater and the handle where they have to like deke around the pylons and go back and like make passes and like in between these small corridors, like you can really appreciate how unbelievably skilled these guys are in a different way.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely agreed. It's the only one that really breaks down and gives you an appreciation for the all the different individual skills that are all happening at the same time as a hockey game is
Unless you're
going on.
Kucherov, unless you're Kucherov and mail it in.
Fair
But
enough. Fair. Kind of what I was going with there. So the Four Nations Cup happened last year. The idea was to replace the All-Star game with this little tournament, and then we started to see international hockey, um, international hockey put on by the NHL again, which hasn't happened in a while. Um, so just to break it down real quickly, I know you know, but just in case, there's basically two governing bodies that put on international competitions. We
mhm,
have the IIHF, which is the International Ice Hockey Federation, and they organize the yearly World Championship that tends to happen around the time the NHL playoffs are going
yeah,
on, which is why you don't actually get best on best when that happens. And they are the body that organizes the Olympics. And like you mentioned earlier, there are some different rules with the IIHF's version of hockey. Generally, the ice is bigger, unlike what we talked about earlier. As
mhm,
you said, the red lines are taken out. Um, if players fight, there's an automatic ejection from the game and a one game suspension.
yeah. I think the red
Um,
lines are out now of NHL now too for a long time, but
Yes, that
yeah,
is true,
yeah,
but they
but
they originated it. The other thing they do when a shootout is necessary, the NHL does 3 rounds, IIHF does 5 rounds. So just some differences. Um, but the NHL as a league has also run international tournaments, not necessarily in conjunction with the IIHF. So you've got two sets of governing bodies on the sport that are running different international competitions. So the NHL tournaments, um, they originated because when you had the original IIHF tournaments, technically the Olympics and all that, and the World Championships, they only ran tournaments that had amateur players. So NHL players originally weren't allowed to play in this. So the NHL started really back in the 70s with the Summit Series is the root of this. Now the WHA was also a part of those Summit Series that happened back then, but in a nutshell, um, after the Summit Series happened, Hockey Canada and the NHL planned a tournament together called the Canada Cup. And the idea
Yep.
was you had six teams: Canada, the Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia, Finland, Sweden, and the USA. And they do these tournaments every 4 or 6 or 5 or whatever years. It wasn't quite um, nailed down. And the Canada Cup was essentially the NHL's version of a international world level hockey championship. So they ran one in 1976, 1981, 1984, 1987, and finally in 1991. Canada won all those tournaments except for 1981 when the Soviet Union won. Um, and then in 1996, the the NHL decided to replace the Canada Cup with the World Cup of Hockey. And the World Cup of Hockey added two more teams to the tournament, so we had 8 teams. The first version they added Germany and Slovakia,
Right. Makes sense.
and that first year, 1996, the USA actually won that one.
Okay.
And at that time, the goal was to run it every 4 years. Well, they didn't do another one until 2004, which Canada won. Then they kind of let it drop off until 2016. And the 2016 version of the tournament, they dropped Germany and Slovakia and they added a
Europe and Young
team,
Stars.
yeah, Team Europe. So
Yeah.
that was like all the other European countries, all stars, and an under
That was a good team.
23. Well, yeah, when you're combining all those countries together, you have a
Kopitar
bigger
and
pool.
Drysaitel and yeah,
And
turned out to
then,
be a
yeah,
good
like
team.
you
But
mentioned, the under 23 players from North America. So it was basically an under 23 US and Canada all-star team.
I
Um,
loved that team.
Another really good team, but a weird concept for an international tournament, a team that
Yeah.
didn't really represent a country. Um, Canada won that year. They were going to do it again in 2020. They were going to drop the Team Europe and the under 23 team, and they were actually going to have a tournament prior to the actual World Cup. So, like a qualifier World Cup tournament with all those European countries that Team Europe was made of. And two teams from that tournament would be granted, I guess, promotion into the World Cup of
Right.
Hockey. Of course, 2020, there was a CBA expiring in the NHL, and because of everything going on around that, they canceled that World Cup of Hockey. It never happened. Fast forward to last year, the NHL announced that A, they're going back to the Olympics, and B, they are going to do a World Cup of Hockey every second year after the Olympics. So
Yeah.
2026 is the Olympics, 2028 is going to be a World Cup, 2030 is the Olympics, 2032 will be a World Cup, and so on and so forth. That's where international hockey is at right now. Um, I I kind of have strong thoughts on this that I kind of touched on when Garrett and I talked last week, but understanding that there's two different governing bodies, I get that the NHL wants a piece of the action, like from a financial standpoint. I don't
Yeah.
blame them. I really think that they're killing the specialness, for lack of a better word, of the Olympics. and the players going to the Olympics. Um, I don't need international hockey every other year. I think part of the reason that the Four Nations Cup did so well, I mean, there's also a little bit of the political climate, yes, but prior to last year, the last time we really had a competition like that was 2016.
Yeah.
People were looking for it. People were excited that international hockey was back. But like I understand if we're using soccer as a comparison that you have the World Cup every 4 years and then again on the like every second
The
year
other
after
year,
it
yeah, it's
you
Euro or
have
FIFA.
yeah you have all the
Yeah.
regional tournaments like the
Yeah.
Carnival here in North America and the Caribbeans and all that but like those are different because it's a smaller geographic area like it wouldn't work here maybe because outside of Canada like Mexico's not known for playing hockey Gu- Guyana Trinidad
Yeah.
Honduras all those countries aren't playing hockey so but if there was a European Cup every second year after the Olympics that would be cool I think but the fact that you're just repeating basically the same thing. I just don't need it every 2 years. I'm happy with 4 years. Keep it special when it happens. It's a big event. And yeah, the Olympics are a good place to do it because hockey doesn't really have a big stage like the FIFA World Cup has, right? So
Right.
I don't know. What do you think? Am I crazy?
Oh,
Am
I
I
mean,
off?
we've known you're crazy for a long time, Jared.
Okay. On this topic,
Uh,
how about that?
um, I I think you're missing what's relevant.
Okay.
And I think the two most relevant factors are one, there has been historical issues between the International Ice Hockey Federation and the NHL and
Hmm.
the PA and being able to get those players to participate in Olympic events, which has
Sure.
created that gap.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that's fixed or not going forward, but um,
Supposedly is, but yeah, we'll see what
to
happens. Yeah.
rely only on that, it's a little, um, I would say, careless for people who really do want to see the best on best with some regularity,
Hmm.
and for the players that really want to put the jersey of their country on and like experience what they watched growing up. And then the other thing, it's money. Like
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Yeah.
yeah, it's this is extra money for like it's extra money for the NHL and there's revenue sharing, which means there's going to be extra money for the players, and it's um I I'll watch best on best over um an all-star game, of course, but over an
For
average
sure.
Leaf game, even like it's exciting, and maybe it won't be in 8 years when I have it every other year, but I think it still will.
We're gonna throw our GM hats on here and pick our versions of Team Canada. So I'm just gonna pull this up. But yeah,
And it should come out this in the next few weeks, I think, right? Like we're
that's
getting to that point.
we are. Um,
Oh,
we
look
have
at you.
we have the first six players that Team Canada has announced, right? Which is, I believe it's these guys right here that you've put in
Italics,
it's
yeah.
italics, yeah. So to set the rules, not that there's like these deep rules or anything, but we've each picked four lines, two goalies, and we have to include these six players because they've already been announced by Hockey Canada. So Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Cale Makar, Sidney Crosby, Sam Reinhart, and Braden Point are all already on the team, and as a result, they are on Team Canada Pete and Team Canada Jer.
Now,
Um,
like before we get into it, like, did you
Yeah.
have any like core philosophies you were going by? Like, is it, you know what, I want to go straight talent. I want to balance lines in a certain way. I want to make sure I have a good shutdown line. I just want to go after guys I like. I don't really care. Like, what was your modus operandi?
Okay. Um, I want international competition experience,
Okay.
and whether that be World Juniors, World Cup, or World Championships, anything like that. I'd like players that have some kind of experience with that. Um, kind of went with, I mean, it's when you get a player pool like we're spoiled to have here in Canada, it's
I'm just
like
trying to think like,
it's
okay, who did Jeremy leave out that I can try to target? Like how do you not put Nick Suzuki on your team, Jeremy? Um,
mostly to bug captain. No, I'm kidding.
but
Yeah, how do I
it's like
not?
that with
Yeah.
so many players.
I the
Do you,
the only thing I can really add to that is to say my third forward line was very intentional the way I did it. Other than that, like my first line, I kind of took a couple guys that have their friends, Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon. They've played together internationally and all
right?
that. Like, so a little
And
bit of that.
everyone expects they're going to play together on the top line.
Right, right.
Yeah, I think it's almost a pre-done conclusion. So why don't we just go by line? So you got
Sure.
McKinnon, Crosby, Point, and I got McKinnon, Crosby, Marchand.
Hmm.
So Point is definitely going
Hmm.
as one of the top six. Um, I
Which is
chose to put him on a different line this year, and I wanted to get the Nova Scotia guys together, which is why I threw Brad Marchand in there with the Nova Scotia connection.
okay. I see.
You
I
went
see.
right in and threw Point right on the top line,
Yeah,
which
he's part of the top
and a 50 goal
six.
guy, multiple guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's yeah, it's nothing other than he's already announced, and I assume he'll get thrown in one of the top lines because of that, you know. So I like I like that Nova Scotia thing there, though. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of cool. Uh,
I think that's the best line in the tournament, like Crosby, McKinnon, and Marchand, like in terms of
I
offensive, defensive capabilities.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you on this one.
Yeah,
I intentionally put him on the line that I put him on for more than one reason. We'll get there when we get there, but the
Marchand.
this yeah, but the
Okay,
secondary reason why I put him there is I don't like him.
all right.
I acknowledge he's a good player. I acknowledge, you know, he has
What
that
he's doing right
international
now in Florida
experience.
is unbelievable. Like without their best guys, and he's this
I
old,
know,
and he's
but he's just a
uh
little shit, you know, and
oh yeah.
I don't like him. I just
And
don't like him.
McKinnon and Crosby can take care of themselves too. Like they're, it's not like they're little.
No, this is it, right? So, yeah. So, anyways, that's our first lines there. Second line, we both have Connor McDavid at center. I
Surprise,
mean,
surprise.
yeah, we both have Connor Bedard at left wing,
Like
and
that's an interesting coincidence, I think, that we both did that.
maybe I mean I think he is just like he is for my fantasy team. He's the now and the future of Team Canada, and you can't put him any lower than the second line. He needs to play
There's
those minutes, right?
there's been so many like discussions and articles about, you know, do you bring Celebrini or do you bring Bedard or can you bring either of them? Like you want, I'm like, how can they're second and third in the NHL in scoring right now?
Yeah, you bring
Like,
them
yeah,
both.
like how can you not bring these guys?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, exactly, exactly.
and when I was looking at center depth, I'm thinking, Bedard can play a wing, especially if it's
Yeah, yeah,
on
no kidding.
McDavid's line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. My thought too. Yeah.
Like
Um,
just
the
the speed and skill of those two guys together. That's interesting to me.
that's I mean that's like if any NHL team could have them together, they'd pay all the money for that. That's a dream team, dream matchup, and here we are. We're probably going to see it in a couple months' time.
Yeah.
But where we differed on line two, it looks like we just kind of flipped where Mitch Marner and Sam Reinhart would be in our terms of our
Yeah, I think they
depth.
were, I guess, our middle six right wingers. I
Hmm.
put I liked Reinhardt as the trigger man just because I think there's going to be so much puck possession. And Reinhardt's a good two-way guy. I mean, Mitch
Hmm.
Marner is too, but
Hmm.
I don't know if
Eh,
I wanted another puck possession guy in Marner with those two. It
that's a
felt
fair
like,
point. I didn't
yeah,
think of that.
I felt like just a good trigger man, bigger body, goes to the net. We'll let it fly, plays good defense. Like I thought that would just be a good compliment to those guys.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Um, I'll be honest, my thought was he needs to be in those top 6 minutes for what he did in the Four Nations Cup, what he's clearly capable of with Las Vegas, what he clearly was capable of with the Leafs, all that. I guess my thought process was more, how do you take him out of the top six? You know what I mean? So, um,
I think the third line will get plenty of opportunity. Um,
yeah,
I
I guess
actually
that's the other thing.
love yeah, I love the my third line.
Well, why don't you start there? I mean, we both got Macklin
So
Celebrini at
what
center.
a
What a guy.
just incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's much more to say about it. I think people know how good this kid is, and he's got a little snarl and he's got a little two-way center game down the
Yep.
middle, and he's so talented. I think the comparison that sticks out to me, and these are such younger versions, but Celverini's a little bit more like Crosby, where Bedard's a little more like McDavid, right? One's more
Oh
speed,
yeah.
skill. The other's got a little more grit, grind, vision. Um, I like the idea of Celebrini having his own line down at the third line, and then putting Marner as a great two-way playmaking wing with him to help with a lot of puck possession. And then Wyatt Johnson has been unbelievable this year.
He sure has,
And he
absolutely.
can go center, he can go left wing. There's such an abundance of centers. I threw him on the wing here. I see you put him as your fourth line center, which um, I have no issue with. I when I was looking for who to be there, I was thinking Point or Wyatt Johnson. Like I could put either. Um, the thing that I was thinking as I was going through at this point is like, okay, where's my size? Like, do I have enough size here? Like, should I be looking more at a Brandon Hagel in here, Tom Wilson, Sam Bennett? Like, and
This
maybe we'll get back to that in the philosophy later. But to me, I just think skill's gonna win. Like,
skill's gonna win, yeah.
I think we only worry about that because of how USA has built their team and what they try to do to Canada. And we take pride in the fact that we can fight back. But uh,
But we're not lacking
this
for
lineup
anything
can,
there
yeah,
either, right?
yeah.
Um,
I think the guys that are on this list are feisty enough that it's not going to be a problem. If anything, I would put like they're going to have more forwards and deep. Like I think they have one more D and a couple more forwards they can bring along as well.
yeah,
Or
they
like to
do. They
me,
have
like
two more.
you bring along Tom Wilson as well, and when you
Yeah.
when you play the states, you use and if you're playing the states in the round robin, Tom Wilson's coming into the game. That's his game.
Right.
Um, but we'll see. I like the core group that I have here. How about you? Your third line surprised me a lot, actually. One name specifically.
I'm gonna guess it's Huberto.
Yeah.
I think he is the reason Calgary is not, you know, as bad as you thought they might be this year. I think he's put that team on his back. I think he's Um,
That's another
he's
name I didn't
been a
have on my
leader.
list. Not just Konechny. I didn't have Huberdeau in my
Oh,
master
did you
list
not?
I was selecting from either. No.
Oh, I must have. I thought I saw it, but I guess. Anyways, I just think that's the kind of, oh, this is such a like puckhead line to, or puckhead thing to say, but like it's a character guy.
He
And
is.
um I guess he's my character guy for this team. Um that's not to say that we're missing that, but I've been, despite all the jokes we've made about Dustin Wolf and Garrett's traffic there, I've been impressed by Calgary so far this year, and I think it's because
They
of
play
him.
up.
They do,
They,
yeah.
they they play above their talent, I think.
hmm And I think he's absolutely doing that, and I think he's kind of earned it because of that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I went there.
And then fourth lines.
Left
You want to
point.
do your fourth?
Sure. So we talked about Wyatt Johnston. I just have him playing center. I have Marchand on the left wing there instead of at the top because of my personal bias a little bit, I admit. But having him play with two younger guys is probably a good thing too. There's always that put the veteran with the younger people mentality. And Travis connect. I cannot say this guy's last name. Wow.
Konechny.
Connect me. Thank you. He's got the world championship experience. He's won gold, and I think it was gold in the World Juniors with Canada as well. Um, I mean, I feel like I'm talking about him like he's 18 and he's getting his first break in the NHL, but he's been around for a while. His point production, I guess he's there for 3 years now. His point production continues to go up significantly every year. Um, and then you've got to kind of, especially if you're doing this every 2 years, you've got to think of the guys like Marchand. You got to think of the guys like Crosby that are coming towards the end. They're not going to be there forever. We've
Mm-hmm.
got to give these guys some reps in meaningful tournaments, and he's the guy that I've picked to be that guy on the right wing there. So,
Okay. I think in our bottom line, see, I had point in the bottom on the bottom line is just the steadying offensive force, and then I have Suzuki as a two-way
mhm.
center, and then at right wing I have Jarvis, and I think Jarvis is kind of like my Konechny. Like I think they have some similarities as players. Like they're what we hope Easton Cowan might be one day. Um, they're feisty. They don't have a ton of size, but they're big enough. They make the right plays. They can put the puck in the net. They play both ways. They're just really good, solid wingers. And Jarvis is off to a hot start in
Yeah,
Carolina, playing with a lot of other talented players. And then, yeah, I think the differences are like Huberdeau and Konechny for you, and then Suzuki and Jarvis for me are probably the two of the bigger differences we have in our front.
for sure.
How about your D? Yeah,
Not a
we went.
huge
We
difference in the top four here at all, actually.
no,
No,
it's
so
the bottom pair.
yeah, so
Um, is there anything to say about the top four?
I don't really think, like, I know it hasn't been announced, but I think this is just kind of the general consensus, isn't it? Like
You
I
did you question Devin Tays?
no, not at all. And they play together, right? So Makar and Tays. So like,
In isolation, I would think well, Devin Tays probably not a lock, but the defensive, like their defensive depth is not what it used to be. I remember Canada used to have just these loaded blue lines. It, it hasn't been that way recently. Um, and Tays seems like an obvious pick. Like, why wouldn't you just bring him along?
yeah.
He played last at the Four Nations. He can play in the style tournament, keep Makar comfortable. Like,
hmm Yeah, they play together in Colorado, all
there's
that. Like
there's
it
no
just
one for me that's knocking down the door that's got to be there.
right, right. So then you well, yeah, you go for you looks like you've given us three players for two slots there. So
Well, the Dowdy one depends on his health. So I know he's
yeah,
out right
sure,
now.
sure, sure.
So I still love Dowdy in this tournament.
Hmm.
Similar, like bring young guys and give them experience. That's great. I think you want really good old mentors as well.
Sure.
And I do think Schaefer is the next great Canadian blue liner. I'll just say
Oh,
that.
whoops.
And you can check my fantasy team and you will probably sense a bias coming from me, but like he's been that good. He just turned 18. Like he was drafted at 17. He'll still be 18 next summer. Like
Right, right.
he's a late birthday. Um, and
I'm
he's
one. I'm
tied
wondering.
for the lead in goals for defensemen, I think, right now in the league on the Islanders. I think you just take him. If the talent is there, you take him. And I think I like Pareko's size. Doughty would be my ideal option if he's healthy. If he can't go, Pareko.
Fair enough. And like, you know me, and I think you and I both like that. With our fantasy teams reflect, we like to give those young players shots and all that. So I like Schaefer for that reason. I just wonder if because he's so young, they might say, "Yeah, you'll have your time." You know what I mean? That seems to be something that has happened in the past.
I'm more worried
But
about let's get a really good puck moving defenseman in here who's not going to
mhm.
make the Evan Bouchard mistakes on the other end.
No, well, I mean, and fair enough, but he's got that slap shot too, right?
Oh,
And
yes, he
and
does.
um and he can definitely provide some offense from the back end for Team Canada, and that might not be a super deep explanation, but that is the explanation why I took him. Um,
But I
yeah,
think if you have a seventh guy, right? Like,
mhm,
um, I would consider putting Bouchard in there as the seventh guy,
sure.
as a more of a
And
power play specialist. But I'm also thinking size too, just because we don't have as much size up front. I like Uyghur. I think Uyghur would be a good fit.
Uyghur kind of falls into the same category as Huberdeau in terms of being on the Flames, Flames playing up. He's a big part of why, they're doing better than I think everyone thought they would. Um, you know, he's he's not massive, but he's 6 feet-ish, so he's not small either. And when you talk towards the size, um, he's got international experience as well. Like, um, yeah, I, it ticks off the boxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So goaltending is the other kind of thin talent pool.
I was gonna say when you were mentioning how the defense have thinned out for Canada, I think this is an even more
Oh,
drastic
you look
drop.
at like what Russia has and Team USA has, and you're just like, where the heck has Hockey Canada gone with developing goaltenders? Like
No
what?
kidding. Remember what was I think it was Nagano. It was like Patrick Waugh, Martin
Martin
Brodeur,
Brodeur and Curtis
and
Joseph,
yeah,
or yeah,
and like you pick and choose. It doesn't matter. Flip a
Balfour,
coin.
or yeah,
Yeah, like and now like I guess part of it goes to kind of what we talked about, and Garrett and I have talked about too. Of it's not the age of a starting goaltender so much anymore. It's a load share thing. So maybe you don't see like maybe by volume there's a lot of Canadian goalies out there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But we definitely don't have those big names anymore. That's not a Canadian. It's not a bunch of guys from Quebec in net, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it used to be.
Like honestly, I'd be fine just rolling a dice. And okay, those are the two names I found out of the six or whatever that as candidates. But are you passionate
Yeah.
about any of the picks you had?
Uh, I mean, I think we both went with Binghamton for the same with the same kind of thought in mind. He's had experience leading the Blues in net for some time now. Yeah, I mean, passionate is probably not the word. I'd say logical, sensical choice, maybe. Um,
Yeah.
and I'll be honest with you, Blackwood, despite me complaining that he's been doing well for Dan and I should have got him instead. Um, you know, let's call a spade a spade. My favorite team is Colorado, and like you said, roll the dice with the goalies. So
Yeah.
he got the nod because my favorite team is Colorado.
There you go.
Yeah. How
He
about
knows how to
you?
play with a good team in front of them.
Yeah. Uh,
Bennington, just because he was there before, I really
mhm,
actually don't have. Uh, I I don't have a good argument for any of them. Blackwood makes as much sense as any of the names to me.
mhm,
Um, Aiden Hill, I don't really feel passionate about the name. Darcy Kemper, he's had his issues in the NHL. Sam Montebo's had a brutal year. I was
yeah.
just pulling up the names of candidates online when I put this together and like the list, and I was not inspired at all. Logan Thompson,
No.
I mean, Washington's had a couple good years now with him. Like this, they're doing real well this year. He's finding some consistency, I guess. But
Yeah, absolutely. But
yeah.
yeah, it's yeah. You're
So,
I couldn't agree more. Roll the dice, choose two guys or three guys, whatever they do, and see just see what happens.
so when you look at your team and
Hmm.
you look at the list of players that you didn't choose, who's the
Hmm.
one name that you're like, I can't believe I didn't find a place for that guy? Like that's the guy I needed a place for. Is there anyone that you're just like, or people that are listening to the podcast and be like, you guys are idiots for not choosing this guy? Um,
Well, if first of all, if they think that, the comment section's down there, throw a comment in, let us know. Or post in our Discord chat or whatever. But to be honest with you, um, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say I can understand the argument for a few of them. Um, but yeah, there's not a name there that I'm like, I can't believe this guy's not gonna get his shot. The only name I might lean to is Owen Power, actually, now that I think
hmm,
about it a little bit. And again, there's a little bit of a personal bias in there. I will admit that. I would just love to see the Sabres be a good hockey team again. I
he's
think Owen Power is
pretty
a good,
big too. Like
yeah.
he's a pretty heavy defenseman on the defensive side, and they could use more size.
But other than, that kind of, I like him and yeah, other than that, it's kind of like, you,
For,
you asked about Suzuki, for example. I could easily see him there, but I also could say, hey, you know what? If he doesn't get to go, well, that's just the breaks with this talent pool kind of thing, you know?
what about Mark Scheifele?
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on him either way. He's been the guy for Winnipeg for a long time now.
He's the one guy that I'm
And
just like, oh, he had such a good season last year, and he's off to a great start.
mhm,
I mean, Winnipeg is kind of sliding a little, and his numbers are too, but just like, mm,
he doesn't.
I
Players get lost in Winnipeg for me. So maybe it's a little bit of ignorance there. This is so bad to
yeah.
say. I have a friend that works for the Jets too. That's the funny part of it all. Um, and I just, there's something about Winnipeg that when the playoffs come around, I want to see them do well because you want to see Canadian teams do well. But then like the names come up and I'm like, oh right, they have that guy. He's pretty good. You know what I mean? So, so again, when it comes to looking at something like that, yeah, that's a name that I'm like, yeah, he's good. I know he's good, but
Fair enough.
you know,
There was him, and then there was the questions just around size, and it was just anyone with size. I'm like a Hegel or Wilson or Pareko or Harley's got some size, power. Like I feel my team's small, but they're gritty. Like there's there's so
you're,
much talent up front. It's crazy how much
yeah,
talent they have on the forwards lines. But
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll save this, and when Canada announces their rosters, we'll see how hit or miss we were,
okay,
and maybe we'll have you come back just for that.
that sounds great.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks
that's
for
all
having me
I've
on.
got. Absolutely. I was just going to say thanks for coming. Thanks for filling in for Garrett on short notice there. And hopefully we can get you on here again sometime soon.
So poll items.
Pull
Better
items.
co-host Peter or Garrett should be one of them, I think.
Okay.
And then I'm joking. Don't do that one.
We're posting
But
it now.
which which team would you prefer? Team Canada Jer or Team Canada Peter? Um, that would be kind of
That's
interesting to
that.
see.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a poll on that. And I will post that up in the Yahoo chat for the league members to do that vote, and we'll see what comes of it, and we'll talk about that next week
All
on the
right.
podcast. Thanks again,
Sounds great.
Pete.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jeremy.
It was a lot of fun.
For sure.